Well, there are now about 25 measles cases in the state of Oregon. That's the most in a single year since 2019. And health officials want to remind us all just how contagious that disease is.
And what could happen if there's a measles outbreak at your child's school and they're not vaccinated. In our health alert, all the cases are in Marion, Clackamas and Multnomah Counties. You may remember there were 28 cases in 2019. That included an outbreak in Clark County in Washington. Before that, you'd have to go back to the early 90s to see case counts that high. Health officials say fewer people are getting vaccinated. In the year 2000, about 1% of kindergartners weren't vaccinated because of an exemption. At the beginning of the 2023 school year, it was 8.8%, and that's threatening our herd immunity.
Measles is perhaps the most contagious disease that we know of. It's spread by the airborne route. If someone with measles coughs into the air, and you walk into the room an hour later, maybe even after the person has left, you could contract measles if you are susceptible simply by breathing the air that that person coughed into.
He says people are contagious for up to 4 days before they show the characteristic rash, and that means you could be exposed at the grocery store, on a bus, and not even know it. He says if you get 2 doses of the measles vaccine, you'll have 97% immunity. Health officials want to remind parents why that's so important as we head back to school in just a few weeks. If your child is exposed and hasn't been vaccinated, they'll have to stay home for 7 to 21 days. If a case is confirmed in a school or public health care setting, the health department will investigate because the entire school may have been exposed.
Keeping children in school and childcare is an absolute priority, but measles is a serious disease. It's not just a little rash. There are very frequent complications, and up to 1 to 3 in every 1,000 children who get measles can die from it. An unvaccinated person who's exposed to measles will not be allowed to go to school or childcare during the period when they could become sick. And this is usually for 21 days after the exposure, which actually may be extended if there continue to be cases in that school.
She says it's also a good time for teachers to dig up their vaccine records so you don't risk having to take time off if you don't need to. If you can't find them, you can get a blood test to confirm you've been vaccinated. She says the measles vaccine has been used in the U.S. for decades, and it's one of the safest and most effective. If you develop a rash and are susceptible to measles, they are asking you to call ahead and not just drop in at your doctor's office so you don't expose others.